Yoo-hoo. Hey boys, what do we have here? A new game? And it's been 5 weeks since last Warhammer 2 stream. This is the longest break from I think Total War and Warhammer 2 in general on this stream. I wanted to make this this video of like last month, but I have all the authority here, so select. Howdy, declined. I'm not the mood to howdy here. I'm drinking coffee. So before we get into it, I just want to say, don't try to fix things when you're drunk, especially it requires, buggy interface. Involves, buggy interface. So last night I tried to fix something and I made it worse. It's not really Twitch fault. They did kind of not made plans for people who got banned while being a VIP or a mod in a channel. So what happened, a VIP of this channel got banned on Twitch and caused a bug, and I made it worse. So right now all VIP and mod status have been removed, but most of them will get back. It was a perfect time to reevaluate some of the AFK mods. So guys, if you have been a VIP, you have some right to get it back, so just tell me. I insist to get my VIP back. And if you have been a mod in this channel, you just say I insist and you're gonna get the mod back. But need to hear from Twitch first. I wrote a ticket last night while I was drunk too. So yeah, it'll take probably a couple of days to answer this, but this will probably get fixed in no time. Okay. We're gonna be doing here a Jibber episode, just a short stream. Short, you know how those people on YouTube, when they expect to learn some knowledge or something, they want to hear like 5-6 minutes of it. Well, fuck them. This is like at least an hour thing, because I'm just talking. That's why I call it Jibber. Nothing like concrete, short, too long, don't read. What is the version, the short version? Fuck off, there's no short version of this shit. If you don't want to watch this shit, go watch somebody else. So, we are currently have an ongoing Tomb Kings campaign, which will continue on Monday. It will continue on Monday. We'll probably have an all-day stream of it on Monday. So with Monday we are back to Warhammer 2. Some days we'll have Warhammer 2 only. Some days we'll have Warhammer 2 mixed with TBC Classic. I'm raiding TBC Classic and I'm not gonna be missing the raids, especially not in the early months. So with Monday we're back to Warhammer 2 with a campaign. Henry will continue. The update lands on Wednesday. This campaign still has things to do. It could be actually shortened or extended depending on people. I don't care. But that's it. Monday, continue this campaign. But today we're gonna do Jibber, where we talk about things, personal experience, opinions, feelings, strictly on a legendary campaign difficulty regarding things. And this is gonna be in a similar fashion like the last video, which was, I don't know when, we talked about the green skin battle skills. This is where we talked about Tomb King's battle skills. So just a short Jibber. Yoo-hoo. So, Tomb Kings, one of the undead factions, which means them being undead have questionable base stats due to being, unbreakable, but can take damage while going unstable, and of course having access to magic. Undead kind of get the short end of the stick ever since our overlords have decided to give the AI 500 experience per turn in their units, which means they gotten much worse in melee. King faction, who kinda actually needed that advantage, kinda got the really short end of a stick which made them probably the weakest after this update in Melee. Other than the Vampire counts, Tomb Kings probably got the weakest end. Since the AI receives 500 experience per turn, their stats go up, especially melee stats, and that makes over half of Tomb King's units much weaker. Especially starting after turn 15, you will notice the difficulty. So what does this mean? This means that the battle skills are critical more than ever. Tomb King had this advantage of actually getting not only just battle skills, but character skills which buffed the units, and also nice technologies on top of that, and easy access to technologies which also buff these units. Not only units get buffed, in case they forgot about some of them, but they turn below average units into exceptional units. But you know, this comes later when, you know, might not matter anymore. If you're playing a short campaign, you know, this matters a lot. If you're playing, you know, a long campaign, you know, it doesn't matter that much. So we're gonna go through the basic battle skills. Read what I do, how I feel about that, how best used, and we're gonna go to the veteran ones. This is basically just this. Tomb King's battle skills, just talk about them. So the first base battle skills is Arrows of Asap. It grants ammunition to Seldon Archers, Screaming Catapult, Bone Giant units. Also missile strength, so they get more ammo and do more damage, which is just, you know, a really solid battle skill. Doesn't matter what range units you have, this battle buffing ammunition and damage is always good, because the range units are good. You know, they just, you know, get in range, start dealing damage. No chance to fail, you know. Skeleton Archers might be, you know, basic. Some Catapult might be, you know, tough to unlock, and the Bone Giants might come later. But still, you know, one thing I forgot to mention, your Legendary Lord really doesn't matter for the battle skills, so these battle skills seem to be more important on your regular Tomb Kings, which gonna probably use a lesser quality army, which makes the battle skills even more important. One thing they forgot about this battle skill, guys, they forgot about Casket of Souls. For some reason, you know, they still haven't fixed this. It's only been 3.5 years, so give them another year or two, guys. I'm sure they'll be right on it. There is this another range unit, Casket of Soul, which is not part of the battle skills. They forgot about it. Which is also the strongest range unit, second strongest range unit Tomb Kings have. So they forgot about that unit. So this skill is just a solid skill buff range units. These units, you know, could be unlocked, prioritized, so you can unlock other stuff. You know, can't complain and stuff like this. They just forgot about Casket of Souls. Not really much to say about this unit. Skeleton Archer is going to be used early. Screaming Catapult is situational flavor unit, and Bone Giant is going to be a unit you are going to be adding later on pretty much to every army or armies that have specialized in this skill. The regular Tomb Kings and the Legion Lords have extra battle skills from this, so this is worth mentioning. So this is one of those things when I said that below average units become better. We don't need to really talk about this, but these are just basically extra battle skills. We're talking about the base stuff. So Arrows of Asap, can't complain. They just forgot about Casket of Souls. Still not fixed 3.5 years later. Sun-Scorched Bones is one of those skills which actually it's a must, because it makes the infantry work. The infantry have really base poor stats. I don't know why they decide this. Keep in mind, guys, like I said, this is strictly legendary campaign experience, not to get confused. Let me tell you, just give you a primary example what is wrong with the base stats of the undead. Let's say a tier 3 monsters units like Ushapti. 44 leadership, -4 from difficulty puts them to 40. That is horrible. They're all gonna lose over half just not going into melee. There's a next unit, if there's another enemy unit next to them, they're gonna start crumbling immediately. 23 base melee attack. 23 base melee attack. This unit has below average stats. It might have 90 armor, it might have okay HP, okay, but its attack, weapon strength, and leadership are questionable at best. While this unit have exceptional buffs down the road, this is a primary example of what's wrong with the undead, especially the vampire counts and the Tomb Kings, which makes the battle skills actually makes the units usable. Without the battle skills, these units, as the campaign progresses, are dog shit. They're really bad. You have to just abuse something else, either range or magic. It just becomes really bad. So this is a primary example of Tomb Kings of questionable stats. Sharply, unless they fight infantry, they have below average performance. If they fight large with these base stats and they lose vigor, they literally can't do anything. The Ushabti do have access to a lot of stuff, but I'll just give you a primary example there. So Sunscorched Bones gives the Tomb King's infantry 12 armor and 8 defense. So this is probably the most important battle skill for Tomb Kings, because they are kind of small faction on the numbers. Their base units, which don't require capacity, are the skeletons, which are part of these battle skills, give them armor and defense. In my opinion, this skill makes them, twice as tough. And later on, when you stop using Skeleton Spearmen and the Skeleton Warriors, this works on the Hekara Warriors, which you will have. This pretty much becomes your standard unit. It replaces Skeleton Spearmen and Skeleton Warriors. And as you get bigger and bigger, the Hekara Warrior slowly, gets replaced by Tomb Guard. So this is your core battle skill on most of your Tomb Kings. It's optional on the Legendary Lord, but it makes the early game manageable. So get 12 armor, 8 defense for all the infantry. This is actually really strong, because the units actually need this. They're actually going to survive with this. And otherwise, because the leadership, they crumble the moment they start fighting. So great battle skill. This is core. This is pretty much a must get for a smooth experience, because melee has difficulties, especially with the undead. Elite Cavalryman. It says weapon strength plus 10% for Necropolis Knights, Hekara Horsemen, Skeleton Horsemen, and Skeleton Archers. Melee strength plus 12% for Skeleton Horse Archers, and speed plus 12% for all these units as well. This is probably the worst battle skill they have. It used to be a flavor skill, but due to the state of the stables building, which is absolutely bad. It's not like, elites are boring, why not use some cavalry, some stuff. No, the cavalry on the undead, especially early on, it's just ignore it. You have limited slots. Let's not go into the buildings. The stables of the Tomb Kings suck. Units, on the other hand, the early cavalry, it's usable better than the free units that do not require capacity, but still these units, you need to be a miracle worker to get any performance out of them, especially as the AI get free experience. More value from the archers than the regular horsemen. Depends who you fight. If you fight other undead, these units are dog shit. Hekara horsemen used to be pretty decent until the AI got a free experience. And the Necropolis Knights are solid. Not great, not terrible, but they require extra effort, to perform. But due to the stables building being absolute horrible design, one of the worst buildings in the game, I wouldn't even recommend going these units for flavor. Just ignore completely the stables of the Tomb Kings and this battle skill, and hope one day, the Star Horse at CA will see it and they'll, fix this. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is the stables building. 4 tiers, dog shit units, 1 tier lower for everything. Everything should be 1 tier lower. And these prices, what the fuck are these prices? Limited slots, better units available. Look at this. This is one of the worst things in the game. Just ignore it, wait for the fixes. Moving on. So this is just skill, just ignore. Master Charioteers, charge bonus plus 12 for Hammer and War Sphinx, Skeleton Chariot, Skeleton Archer Chariot, and attack, and a little time reduction for the War Sphinx, Skeleton Archer Chariots. This is probably the second best battle skill for Tomb Kings to get a smooth experience, especially early on. The Skeleton Chariot is one of the strongest early game units if you don't forget to use it in battle, if you don't just, let it go into the mobs and get killed. This unit can just output ridiculous damage, especially on the low armor units. Even if you specialize on this battle skill and you don't decide not to use Skeleton Chariots later on, because the chariots fall behind later on, especially if they're not elite chariots, the battle skill still buffs the Hamner War Sphinxes, which are elite single entity units. So you can't really complain about these battle skills. This is just a really good battle skill. It's part of the flavor of the Tomb Kings, and they made sure, the developers made sure this flavor is strong from the start. And once those chariots, fall behind, you have the big construct kitty, which just gets retained these bonuses. Then one of their original battle skills here, which is 8 defense and leadership, which buffs Tomb Guard and the chariots, which makes it even better. They made sure the Tomb Kings excel with their chariots. Heck, possibly the best chariots in the game, since they are unlockable early on and they matter more than any other faction. Because the main weakness of the chariots is the large units, and as the game progresses, some factions will have more large units. The moment the enemy have large units on the battlefield, your chariots basically just get denied. If the enemy have no large units and mostly infantry, the chariots just roam wild, go crazy. It's a highly imbalanced unit because it bullies infantry. It has crazy maneuvering possible on the battlefield, but the moment the large is in the picture, it's just not good anymore. So like I said, early game the chariots are godly, later on they fall behind, but you can use it for the Hamner War Sphinxes. I consider this one of the 3 best battle skills for the Tomb Kings, especially early on. Usually this one and this one early on you can't go wrong with. If you're failing at chariots and you're still confused how they work and they don't work for you, usually just go for the skeleton archers and just shoot and be good at the game. The next battle skill is Revered Stone Masonry, which buff melee defense +8 for Hero Titan, Ushapti, and Ushapti Greybow units, melee attack +8 for Hero Titan, Ushapti, and Ushapti Greybow units, and missile strength for the Ushapti Greybow units. Battle skills which buff attack and defense are the top battle skills, especially if they buff single entity or the chariot units, actually any real units in general. The Hero Titans actually need attack. They don't really need defense, but attack actually makes them output damage. And remember Ushapti, 23 base melee attack. This is one of the 3 things that make the Ushapti actually exceptional later on. This is a great battle skill. This is the Doomstack potential battle skill. The Ushapti is the Doomstack of the Tomb Kings. Ushapti need this battle skill to work. Hero Titan need this battle skill to damage, otherwise just a massive statue that just tanks damage and looks pretty in the battlefield buffing magic. Ushapti Greybows is the Tomb King's best unit, so there's this battle skill. You usually can make 1 or 2 Ushapti armies, Ushapti being the main best tier 3 building and the best tier 4 building. This unlocks the Ushapti and the Ushapti Greybows, so this makes it as the game advances, middle game, late game, the best battle skills. Usually go together with this one if you don't have enough Ushapti, or just go on its own, but you need enough battle skills to proceed in the next area. It's just perfect. The units are accessible, units can be spammed, and these units get buffed to a really sweet point. The Gehep buffs attack, defense, there's technologies. Heck, there's even a special lore that buffs it even further, makes Ushapti godly, from barely average stats to exceptional stats, godly stats. So this is as the game progresses, your main battle skill for best units. Hero Titan you want 1 per army if there is a magic user, or you can just spam it for the memes flavor, and Ushapti is your best unit. Last skill is the Stone Sentinels, which is not as bad as the Elite Cavalryman, but it's totally optional flavor battle skill. What's a good thing about Tomb Kings, how they unlock capacity, you actually get to choose. There are literally no choices regarding the infantry building and the Ushapti building, but as you get on a higher tier you can choose Scorpions, War Sphinx, Necro Sphinx, and Hero Titan. So you choose how to specialize. Any of these units tier 5 just doesn't mean which is stronger, which is better. Of course they're better, depends who you fight, what you need. But as you get tier 5, just whoever whoever you like the most, just use those. This is one of the good things about tier 5. In a usual campaign, the tier 5 units are irrelevant with Tomb Kings. They snowball pretty fast, but it makes tier 5 not really even a thing unless you play a longer campaign. So this is a flavor skill. Charge bonus for the Sepulchre Stalkers, Necrosphinxes and Tomb Scorpions, melee attack and weapon strength as well. You can't really complain this skill. The charge bonus is okay for the Stalkers, not really for the single entities, but attack and damage for the single entities is great. Makes the Necrosphinx quite formidable with extra attack and damage because it's already deadly. And especially if you go against a large unit, it will chop things. Just don't send it tired against infantry. Necrosphinx delete things with this battle skill. So this is a nice flavor battle skill, might be a little bit overkill. Sepulchre Stalkers, try hard unit, but works. While the Tomb Scorpion is strictly a flavor unit, so let's keep it for more sharpty. And the Necrosphinx is powerful. So this is an example of a battle skill which is an option, but it works and it's good enough. Sometimes the battle skill could be fine as well with speed and the missile strength, but the building makes the units pretty bad. So can't complain about this. Sepulchre Stalkers are questionable, while the Necrosphinx and Tomb Scorpions are fine. Tomb Scorpions are a little bit buggy, while Necrosphinx is powerful. So this is an example of a very good battle skill. It's optional, but it's still good. On to the veteran battle skills. We call them we call these basic battle skills because they work immediately the moment you unlock them on these units. While the veteran battle skills, how we call them, only work if the units reach veteran status, which is rank 7, 8, and 9. So, Blessing of the Asp grants missile resistance, missile strength, and ammunition to skeleton archers, Ushabti great bows, skeleton horse archers, scream skull catapult, and bone giant units. So, all your range units. But no, they forgot about the Casket of Souls again. Casket of Souls gets forgotten. I don't know how they forgot Casket of Souls on battle skills, but they haven't forgotten it on technologies or this skill here, which is funny because Casket of Soul relies on explosion damage, while missile strength is probably bugged, does not buff explosion damage, so it's even worse. So Casket of Souls, this thing needs to be fixed, right? So veteran skills for the range units. If you're gonna be using range units, you're gonna get this skill. It's a no-brain. Ushabti Great Bows is the most powerful unit the Tomb Kings have, so if you have Ushabti Great Bows in the army, you get this battle skill. If you're using Bone Giants, you get this battle skills. The Bone Giant is great. It's nothing too overpowered, and it's just strong enough. If you position it properly, target positions properly, devastating effect. I've seen a Bone Giant kill 80 people in a single shot. Depending how the projectile hit, it can be very devastating, or you can just miss a couple of times. It's kind of like a Luminarch, except it's a little bit taller, and it can fight better in melee. On the large, it can be pretty devastating. Extra shots, extra missile strength, all good. If you watch some of my campaigns with the Bone Giants, I think even this campaign here, if you watch this army fight with the Bone Giants, you can see some of the performance. It can carry an army, especially if your army looks like this. Good value unit when used right. So, just range buff, King of Plan based technology. Of course, it's not Empire or the Dwarf range technology, which is totally busted, but still good enough. Dune Rider grants armor, melee attack, and physical resistance to the Nehekara Horsemen, Skeleton Horsemen, Sepulchre Stalkers, Necropolis Knights, Skeleton Chariots, and Skeleton Archer Chariots. This skill is optional, because you're probably not going to use Cavalry, and you might think about, ooh, all those veteran chariots I get, they actually might get even further buffs. So the only time I get these battle skills is when I get veteran chariots, usually with Cetra, and those chariots are a little bit crazier because they get such crazy stats with all the buffs. It's an optional skill, flavor skill, and it makes these units better. It's not a bad battle skill, it's just optional. Even if you have the chariots or these units, for the cavalry, if you actually want the cavalry to be good, you have to get this. Chariots are good at that part of the game. Once they get rank 7 this skill later, they start to fall off, so it's not really important. It's optional. The Unfading Memory is the battle skill that buffs the infantry, Nekara warriors, skeleton spearmen, and tomb guard units. So they get tougher, faster, with more resistance. Usually this skill is just gonna be taken for a tomb guard. If the army reached with veteran tomb guard is not easy to get from just experience alone. You usually need to recruit them through various bonuses, the right characters, technologies. Tomb Kings can recruit veteran units. If you have convenient access to veteran units, this unit just get tougher, and the infantry being core in most of your armies, just a good battle skill. But some of the armies will never reach rank 7, so you have to keep it in mind unless you recruit them rank 7. So it could be just optional. Might just better to pick one of these skills and just get the Resurrect. So Ancient Stone, Leadership +5, Weapon Strength +12%, and Magic Resistance +50% for Ushapti, Tomb Scorpions, Hero Titans, Negro Sphinxes, Khmer War Sphinxes. The 12% Weapon Strength is very nice. The Leadership is actually here very good. We did mention Ushapti have 40 base leadership, so this will prevent some of the crumbling damage. Even Ushapti later on in some of these units, which barely hit 60-70 leadership, they might get surrounded. This 5 leadership will be the difference if this unit just gets destroyed or survives on low health or 120s, which makes them live at the end. So this deception, it's good. It's good to get this 5 leadership from these veteran units. The veteran units get leadership on their own, but the undead have problem with low leadership. The rest of the game just have probably about 30% higher stats than the undead. The melee has gotten much worse since the enemy gets free experience per turn. Weapon strength is nice. Magic resistance is questionable. Some units have magic attacks, so it makes the magic resistance okay. It's a stat which, you know, might not do anything or might actually make it take no damage. So the veteran battle skills, not great, not terrible. The Resurrect at the end makes up for it, because you get an AoE heal, which heals everybody, statues and the undead, which is one of the probably the best final skills at the end of the line. So can't really complain about these things, you know, even if they are like kind of like a mech, like the Skaven stuff. But you know, Resurrect at the end makes up for it. So when it comes to battle skills and building your armies, you just buff your infantry, and then you choose to buff second group of units, because you have to mix up units due to capacity. You either pick range, chariots, or Ushapti. The cavalry can be ignored due to a bad building. This is optional flavor. If you build these buildings, it means you're gonna get less of these units, less of these units, and less of these units. So you gotta balance it out. But you pick a Sun-Scorched Bones core, and you go build together with it. As these units progress later on, you get the veteran skills, but keep in mind these veteran skills might do anything unless it's you know, well-tuned, polished army. You just usually quickly just unlock any of these, which might be useful in the future, and get 1 point in Resurrect. Resurrect is strong. Tomb Kings on the base are one of the strongest base lords. They just work pretty scary stats, and they heal. Can't really complain about them. The battle skills have forgotten not only Casket of Souls, but they have forgotten Carrion. Carrion, which is unit is so bad that the only time it works when you're desperate, like you're falling in a hole and you're about to drown and you're trying to pull out some miracle, because you know you're gonna be dead in 5 seconds. No battle skills and for Carrion or the Casket of Souls. So Carrion should probably be on the Stone Sentinels, because they really need the stats. Charge bonus and attack is the stats that will fit Carrion. They probably should put Carrion on the Stone Sentinels. Casket of Souls, Air of Asaph, Casket of Soul, the Blessing of Asp, and Carrion probably on the Dune Rider. Just, you know, so it has the battle skills, even if it, you know, the text doesn't really fit, but they do these things anyways. All in all, you know, Tomb Kings is pretty good, but like I said, they've fallen behind. AI getting 500 experience per turn makes it a problem. Their melee, a general melee of the undead, heck, even the Vampire Counts, but especially the Vampire Counts, the main undead, and the Tomb Kings. Ever since the AI started receiving 500 experience per turn, in making the melee way more difficult due to how the bonuses work, the defense and attack. This thing has to be fixed, especially for the vampire counts, because in my opinion the vampire counts about 30% behind even the Empire when it comes to melee stats, while the Tomb Kings are behind as well, but not as much. So we're gonna be probably doing a Jibber Jabber regarding the battle skills like this, a short one for most factions. This one was for the Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings have good battle skills, not overpowered like the Emperor or the Dwarves, but you know, definitely get some help regarding Casket of Souls and the Carrion to make those units on an option. Regarding more Warhammer 2, guys, like I said, we are back on it on Monday with this campaign. We're continuing this campaign. At the moment this campaign ends, which is totally in your hands, we are starting Empire Sartosa. The new content hits on Wednesday. We'll be doing the same as with previous Lord packs. We'll be starting a new campaign with each of the Lord packs and rotate, probably in 4 to 6 hours, streams. The streams will get mixed with WoW, especially on the raid days. And on the dead, there's going to be patch notes in a few days. And we're going to go through the patch notes. This patch that's coming, it's looks like to be the biggest update for Warhammer 2 yet. So we're hoping for thick, fat, long patch notes we can go through for about 3 or 4 hours. Lots of reading. Get ready your kekvis and lots of water and popcorn. So this is it. I'll see you guys in a bit with TBC Classic and with more Warhammer 2, starting with the patch notes on the Monday. Later, boys.